a subscriber by the name of, and I apologize if I'm pronouncing it wrong, Ajaya. I'm going to have it right up here somewhere. She wanted to know the possibilities of growth in long-term care for a recent North American citizen over the age of 50. So, in response to that, first off, let me say thank you. Thank you so much for the question. I always go in the comment section looking for ideas on videos. My question to your question is, what do you consider growth? Are you talking growth as far as monetary growth, or are you talking as far as in position? If we're talking monetary growth, there are a lot of ways to accomplish monetary growth. As someone 50 or over. One thing I will say when it comes to hiring, nursing is one of those fields where, especially in long-term care, they do like to hire older nurses, especially in long-term care, because for one, they feel like older nurses are more stable. We will stay on a job longer. We have more loyalty to a job. We get used to things, that we're used to stability. We're used to having things repetitive in a certain way. And so they feel like the older nurse will stay on a job longer. They also feel like the older nurse will be easily what's the word? Amenable, whatever the word is. Y'all know what I'm saying. They feel like we're easier like that. As far as growth monetarily, I would say your chances of growth, monetary growth, are just as good as a younger nurse. Age doesn't matter. As long as you are willing to change, as long as you can get accustomed to change. There are a lot of nurses who will not go agency because they have this loyalty to these jobs. I don't know why. They have these loyalty to these jobs who are not loyal to them, and they lose out on so much money being loyal to a job. Me, myself, I'm going to go where the money goes as long as I can handle it mentally. I signed up with like 2 or 3 different agencies. When I'm picking up an agency shift, I'm going to go with the company that's paying the highest. I'm going to try to get the shift with them first. If I'm not able to get it with them, I'll get it with with the other agency. What I do a lot is I reach out to HR and I let them know that I did put in for the shift. Now, if you're talking about monetary growth, like I said, agency is the way to go. That's really the only way to go for monetary growth. These staff jobs they're paying a little better. They are paying weekly and daily, but they're still not paying as much as agency nursing is. If we want to talk about positional growth, as far as rising, like climbing the corporate ladder, I will say, as far as being a nurse, I have known for nurses they have actually become like nurse consultants for these private companies. And nurse consultants, they go around to different facilities. They're like corporate. They're part of corporate. They work for the corporation. They go around to different facilities under that corporation, just making sure things are straight, letting you know what the law of the land is, making sure things are in order. In different facilities in long-term care. We're sticking with long-term care. I'm trying to get my thoughts together because y'all know I don't really climb the ladder when it comes to working in long-term care because I never stick around at a facility long enough to even give them to even think about being climbing the corporate ladder with them. But yeah, being a nurse consultant or a nurse liaison for companies, that's one way to climb the corporate ladder to grow in a facility. Let's step down a few pegs. Becoming an administrator of a facility. Now, you can be a nurse and be an administrator, but you don't have to be a nurse to be an administrator. But one thing you will have to do is take some courses in health administration to become an administrator. Now, that's the highest level of the person on site there in a facility. That's one way you can grow in long-term care, is to become the administrator of a building. If you don't want to take those courses to become an administrator, you can become a DON, which she is the director of nursing. She is over everything nursing. She's over the nurses, the CNAs, just nursing. And those are salary positions. I talked about this in another video. You can be an RN and you can become a director of nursing in a facility. Another way to become, to grow in long-term care as someone 50 and over is to open your own facility. There are several nurses in the United States who are opening their own like private home health agencies. They're opening their own like adult daycare facilities. They're opening their own assisted living facilities. Like there are a lot of nurses who are branching out doing their own things, and they're becoming entrepreneurs. So those are another way to grow as someone who's 50 plus in long-term care. Now let's get back to the money. Like I said, financial freedom. A lot of nurses are finding financial freedom in these days and times. These post-pandemic times. There are a lot of nurses who are finding financial freedom because let's say you decide to take a travel contract. I took travel contracts as an RN working in long-term care, but I would accept LPN pay because even at that time, accepting a contract for LPN pay was more than I was making on my staff job. What I have known some nurses to do is they'll be out on 2 assignments at one time. So they may be getting, because right now the money for long-term care and traveling is not really that good. I think you could still find some places that'll pay like $4,000 a week. Like in the Northeast, I know like Maine was one of them. They were paying really well. And on the Northwest, like Washington was paying really well for a long-term care nurses for travel. But I know some personally who were doing 2 contracts at one time. You know, they were doing 6/12s a week. I don't advocate for that, but I don't have anything against anybody who wants to do it. But they would work a contract here in the Southeast that was paying like $2,300 a week, and they would work another contract that was paying like $2,200 a week. For a long-term care nurse. Now the rates aren't really that high anymore, but at that time they were. And what they would do is they would get a block schedule at each facility. So I would work these specific 3 days a week at this facility, and I would work 3 days a week at that facility. And they were basically bringing home after taxes, I'll say after taxes, because you only got taxed on your base pay, they were bringing home roughly about $3,800 a week working 2 contracts and long-term care. But if you don't want to overextend yourself like that, you can do strictly agency. You can pick up strictly premium shifts, or you can pick up shifts and do doubles at an agency. Because say like a lot of the places that I work, you know, they're paying like 50 and up for nurses. So I limit myself to 2 days a week, which I know I may start doing more. I don't know, y'all. I be looking at them shifts and I be thinking about the money, but I be thinking about I don't want to be there. But, you know, I could actually go pick up 4 shifts a week at the place that I go to, and I could bring home about three grand a week. And, you know, I may start doing that. Just do it for maybe a month straight, just to pay some things off quicker than what I plan to pay them off. But yeah, so don't let your age discourage you. They so hurting for nurses right now. They'll take a nurse in there walking through the door, blind, crippled, and crazy, to have someone to fill these shifts. As long as you know you can get the job done. You can be 70 years old. They'll still let you come on in. Where I work at now, there's a nurse doing 16-day runs, and I believe she's like close to 60. I think she's close to 60. She's doing like 16-day shift runs. And she's a staff nurse, and I'm sitting here like, girl, I be looking at her like, oh, I wish I had it in me. I wish I had it in me. Because, my goodness, do you imagine me doing a 16-day run at the rate that I'm making as a agency nurse? And I could do it because they would allow me to do it. But, ooh, that's another way monetarily to make your money. Just do them runs, like do 7 days straight at a facility. Because when you're agency, most agencies, if you work the same facility and you do the overtime hours at that same facility, you're going to get overtime pay for that facility. So imagine you going in and you did 60 hours a week, straight agency at $50 an hour. Base pay you're going to get at $50 an hour. Base pay, that's going to be $3,000, but that's not even counting the overtime. Yeah, so anywho, I hope this video helped. If it didn't answer your question, just be a little bit more specific in the bottom so I can possibly get to what it is exactly you're asking, because you asked about growth and I'm not exactly sure what you mean by growth. I don't know if you meant monetary or if you meant by positional growth. Anyway, y'all have a good day. Bye.